What up, what up, what up, football fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guy, the super dope co-host, Adam Costas. You all know what time it is. It's the real deal. NFC East. Round up. Punch that intro. Good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome to another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Round Up. I am Mac the Giants fan, and I'm here with my guy, the super dope co-host Adam Costas. Man, how you doing this very lovely Wednesday afternoon, Adam?
I am doing lovely, my friend. Thank you for asking. How are you these days? NFL seasons are back. Training camps are full effect. I know you're feeling good.
Yes, indeed. You can smell it in the air, man. You can smell football in the air. What is
Oh,
going on? No Mets, no Nets, no Jets,
my
man. Thanks
guy,
for popping
my
in,
guy.
yo.
I want to say thank you. Let me give
Definitely
a
that
moment
dude.
to No Mets. Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm feeling a lot better, No Mets. Thank you for asking. My luck has changed, so to speak. So I just want to say thanks to No Mets because that guy was there for me last week. One of the only guys in the chat as I held it down for the Four Horsemen and I rode through premium takes by myself. Nothing against those guys. They had things to do, and I thought the show must go on. So I wanted to just thank him for being there and being a part of the live chat and kind of carrying us through that random Friday evening. So appreciate it. Just want to say thanks, and wait, we can get on with whatever we need to talk about. Just want to give that guy his moment, his flowers.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. No doubt, man. One of the biggest supporters, most definitely, man. Definitely appreciate the support he shows the love to this channel, man. All the time, man. Thanks. We appreciate that, no Mets, man. Definitely appreciate that, bro. But yeah, football's in the air, man. Like I said, it's just that
Thank
time
you.
of the year, man. You can, we're like literally what we're less than 2 weeks away from the first
Wait,
preseason
what do you
action.
mean?
I mean,
It's
I
in
know
the
it's just
air. Mac, it's
preseason.
here. It's here.
I know.
It's not in the air. It's here.
I know it's
It
just
is here.
preseason, but you just get excited for it just because it's just it's about to get real. It's about to get real. So let's go, man. Hard Knocks season wrapped up their season last night. Season finale of Hard Knocks with this New York Football Giants, man, showing obviously all the ongoings in the war
Ugh.
room draft night. I mean, for me, I thought it was pretty cool, kind of seeing being inside, almost like being inside the room a little bit, seeing how some of these guys, how things were, how their
Not
minds are
me.
working leading up to some of these picks. For me, I thought it was pretty. I mean, for me, I thought it was pretty cool. It's just something I'm not used to. I don't really know much of the inner workings, obviously, of what these guys do and all the work they put in and how they just seeing what's going on. I mean, even to them, sitting down, talking with all the scouts, showing the appreciation for the work that they do. So, I thought it was a pretty nice way to end the season of the Hard
Great. Your
Knocks.
boss
But
your
very
boss
excited
gives you
about
a
that
hug
one.
at the end of your day because you did a freaking job. That's what we need. Hey everybody, get a hug. You did your job. High five. No, no, I don't want to take away from your enjoying it. It was, and I don't think it was as interesting as I needed it to be. Maybe it's because I'm hard on the Giants, but the fact that you didn't trade down with the Colts with that deal that they were going to give you, or even counter the Colts and say, "Hey, man, we'll move down if you give us another first." And if they were to give you another first, what would you have done then? You would have got two firsts. Yeah, sure, you would have given them Malik Neighbors, but you could have got Brian Thomas at 15 and still had your receiver. You could have gotten the 42nd pick as well, so you could have probably gotten another lineman and your safety Newbin at the same time, and then you would have had a first round pick for next year in case you sucked and went down that way. So all Hard Knocks did was prove how dumb Joe Shane is and how much incompetence that this office is having. And he better, I'm telling you right now, he better be right because there's a lot of reports out there. This is the NFC East real deal roundup, but the snips and stuff, if you're out there and you're like me and you love the NFL before the team that you fell in love with, you always are hearing things. Spencer Rattler, 5th-round pick, doing well in New Orleans. You got JJ McCarthy tearing up the defense in Minnesota, looking good. You got Jaden Daniels doing good stuff all in his camp. Meanwhile, what do we got? Yes, Malik Neighbors is nice, and he's pretty, and he's going to do everything and be gritty, but we have a real problem on our hands, and we can get into that in a little bit. My other thoughts on Hard Knocks is I'm glad that it's over. Now we can get into the training camp Hard Knocks, where the real Hard Knocks will begin, where we get to see the drama that goes through it. Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. Behind the scenes is cool, but it's the same shit that we talk about and we know. When his kid is making declarations, I don't know how old his kid is, probably in high school, middle school, something along those lines, and he's saying Spencer Rattler is moving up the charts. My point is if you miss out on these guys because you didn't want to take a flyer on a guy in the draft to bring up, it's all going to tie in real nicely, Mets, when we get to that. But to close a bow on it, for me, I enjoyed Hard Knocks at the beginning. Towards the end, I kind of like was dragging on. It's like, all right, they're like, ooh, the draft route, like we already know. So it was kind of cool. Mac is right. You got to praise him for at least thanking his scouts. I mean, not many people do that in jobs at all, but he did it. I don't know if that means they were leaving. I don't know. So it seemed like some of them were having exit interviews. Which, who knows if they're going to turn that staff over to the NFL. I always think about being a scout, and then I realize you're on the road for 180 days of the year, and I don't know if I want to do that. But it's something I always have thought about, building a team, moving up the ranks. And I'm a little old now, but
I mean,
really,
what's going on, Wales? What's going
is
on,
that
Wales?
really?
Alex out there in the chat, and trauma. I'm hearing Daniel Jones goes to number 2, Neighbors takes 8, and Drew Lock takes 12. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it, but at the end of the day,
Well, it would be a
I just
better.
want some production on the
I
field.
would.
I don't
Let me
care
put
what
it to you this
numbers
way.
they wear.
Let me put it to you this way. That'll be the first time I'll be rooting for somebody in the number 8 uniform. So I will welcome that change. And maybe that's the change that is needed for Daniel Jones to shake off some of this, I don't think it will help. You could probably put, whatever number on him, and I don't think it'll help, but that's the point. DJ's weak, bro. Did you see the
I
part
mean,
in Hard Knocks where he was talking to Malik Neighbors like, if you cook him at the line, he'll throw up. Dude, you've been fucking this kid up all fucking training camp. You're gonna tell me that? And then, well, if you cook him off the line, I'm gonna throw the ball here. Give me a break. I don't mean to get started and riled up. It's too early, and then it's too early in the show.
look. Let's keep the sunshine in the room. I'm hearing good positive things out of Cam with just the wide receiving group in general. Jalen Hyatt's taking some strides, getting a little better with his route running and things of that such, looking like a more polishing up his game a little bit. Wandale Robinson, they say, I'm hearing good things about Wandale, looking really, really sharp. And obviously, all the reports of Malik Neighbors is obviously as advertised, looking like the beast that the New York Giants drafted him to be. What's your thoughts on the wide receiving group
It's
that's
very
going through
improved,
camp?
very much improved. Guys like Allen Robinson are making plays as well. Darius Slayton's still out there, doing his thing. So there is no excuse this year in terms of weaponry. You've got guys all over this field that can make plays. If you hit them in stride, they can make plays for you all over the field. I'm a little concerned about what I've heard in terms of the offense basically being run through Malik Neighbors because that's all they have. That's a little bit of, that's not something I want to hear from beat reporters that, when they have an off day, it's because their receiver who didn't take that many snaps wasn't in the game. That's a troubling sign. The other thing is I'm excited to see them go downfield. Will they get a chance to catch the ball downfield is the question. So, and I'm just happy it's loaded. I think the Giants are going to make a trade here. I do believe they're going to trade somebody. I think Max says it best. We finally have some guys on this roster who will be playing on other people's rosters. You know that guys are going down left and right. You know people are losing guys in camp. Hell, the Giants are probably going to lose some players when they play against Detroit. They might get some guys nicked up. So that'll determine some of the roster spots as you go through. Well, guess what? The Giants have Wandale Robinson, like you said, Allen Robinson. They have Darius Slayton. They have that kid Wheaton, Bryce Ford Wheaton that they like. They have Isaiah McKenzie. So they have the Gunnar Groshinski, that guy as well. So they're going to have some hard decisions to make. And I think this is where you can acquire, if our GM's any good, acquire some picks in the back end of your draft where, hey, you need a receiver. We got Darius Slayton here for a 5th round pick. Cost you nothing. Just give us a couple picks and away you go. So I think this receiving core is well improved, and I think if the quarterbacks can get them the ball, we're going to have some explosive plays.
I mean, look forward to it. Hopefully, I mean that's what you draft a guy like Malik Neighbors. Hope opens up the offense, but only time will tell, man. I mean, like I said, I'm shell shocked. I just can't put myself out there like that no more, man. I gotta wait and see it all unfold on the field and see if this can really work, man. If the light bulb somehow can come on for Daniel Jones, I mean, it's a lot of what ifs when it comes to this football team and this offense in particular. Like I said, I've told you how I feel about the potential of this defense when it's all said and done this season. And I still stand by that. So that side of the football, I'm just a little less concerned with right now. I just really want to see this offense, figure things out, man. I want to see it. I want to see things. I mean, like I said, you want to see things come together. Just look competent. Like that. That's what I feel like has really been bothering me a lot. It's just the offense doesn't even look like a competent NFL offense, and I want to see it look like we at least belong in the league when we go out there on the field against other teams, because it just has been that bad. At least for me, it's been that bad. Looking at this offense at times, it's been laughable. I mean, just like a joke. So right now, we heard all the greatness about training camps last year and the year before that and the year before that, training camp this and training camp that. I just need to see it in September, man. I need to see this in September. And until we start seeing it in September again, it's just a little tough for me right now. But on to some other things, man. This offensive line still trying to figure things out with this O line. Obviously, Evan Neal's still on the pup list, missing very valuable reps that he so desperately needs. And you got Andrew Thomas out there at anchor in the line and JMS in the middle, man. But right now, everything else is still kind of like who's going to be where in this spot. I mean, you figure, Runyon's going to be in there. They're still figuring it out with him, right, left. It's offensive line. They really need to figure out, get five guys out there that can get the job done. I mean, absolutely, and figure things out, man, on this O-line.
Well, Alex, we are going to welcome that hot take on Friday. Premium Takes. We will be going live on Friday. Alex will be joining us for the show, or at least a segment of the show, where he's going to give you the play-by-play of what's been going down in Giants camp. It's our Giant insider, our resident insider, Alex from Big Blue in the Bronx. Does a great job with not just Giants, but all things New York sports. Go check him out. A great guy, great content creator. Met him in person. Absolutely going to take over the New York scene once he gets into those WFAN. He may not need it. He may take it over just right now, but great guy. He's going to come in with some nuggets as well. But getting back to what Mac was talking about, the offensive line, I want to just say this. They hired Van Routen, right? They got Greg Van Routen, or whatever the guy's name is, right? 34-year-old lineman, 1 year stop, got $3 million. Somebody was telling me that's that's a good move. Well, yeah, it's a good move, but also an indictment on Joe Schoen. Here's why. One, I don't know if Evan Neal is going to get his job back, especially if Illuminor plays well on the right side and Van Routen plays well in his position or plays adequate enough. I don't know if he gets the job. Now, that's going to be a good backup to have, but he might be a guy that might be on the trading block if he doesn't start, right? The other thing is, why do we need Van Routen if you drafted Azudu and McKeithen and brought in Stinney and a few other guys to be guards? Yet you brought in Van Routen at the last second and spent $3 million of your $11 million cap hit that you've gotten, which is 925,000 guaranteed at the signing bonus. To me, um, to me, I don't understand what you're doing, because if you drafted a guy in the third round and you drafted a guy in the fifth round, these are the guys that should be taking over those spots, not going out and hiring a guy off the street that hadn't been signed all off season. He signed at camp. Even though he did well last year, there's a reason why he's not getting a lot of money, right? And not being signed by anybody else. And the Giants are desperate. So to me, it's just not a good look in terms of what you've done with the roster. However, this should be the best line that he's had. They are getting, I hate to say, they are getting pushed around a little bit by the defense. So there will be some gelling period going on. We have no idea how well these guys are going to play together. Things change. The elixir changes. Water changes, right? I'm watching highlights of Andrew Thomas, black guys in the Raiders, and yet the quarterback steps up right into his guy and gets sacked because he has no pocket presence, but they're going to blame that on the offensive line. So I'm really waiting to see what this team is going to do. The Giants out the gate play some solid defenses to start, and then some really good defenses in the middle of the year. So this line will be tested often, and it will be tested early. And line calls are going to be different. There are different line calls in Green Bay than there are for here. So John Runyon is going to need to learn that. There are different line calls or similar line calls, but he's got to gel with Illuminor and all those guys. So there's a lot that's going to go on. We'll see again what happens the next 2 days, as well as the joint practices coming up. That's really going to be telling to see how well this offensive line is coming through. It's true.
I mean, appreciate the comment, brother. But I mean, like I say, all I care about is the production, man. Whatever number they got on is just whatever number they got on, man. I'm not even. But
I am concerned
we'll see,
a bit,
man.
but not that concerned. We don't know if that's because they're getting pressure on the quarterback.
I mean, not to mention, I mean, things like we said, what we were just talked about a few minutes ago with the wide receiving group, the way they've been really one of the really strong points in this camp right now. One of the high points, one of the better units to at least take in right now. The wide receiver's been doing some work, so that's just putting a lot of pressure on a young secondary. Secondary is very young, and that's what camp is for, man. They're getting a lot of big reps. Guys like Malik Neighbors, guys like that, Darius Slayton, veteran, vets like that. So I'm not going to be concerned too much right now, right here, so early, still in the process right now. You had to expect them to take their lumps a little bit. So I think I mean, hopefully this is just a way for them to build up and get even better and learn and grow. I mean, Tyler Newman, need to get him on the field. Hopefully,
I think he's a little banged up.
I mean, gotta get. Oh yeah, he's out. That's what I mean. Yeah, he's got to get him back. I mean, according to Brian Dable, shouldn't be out too long, missing too much time. But
don't listen to that guy.
Right now, these are valuable reps. Valuable reps right
I'm
now.
Sorry,
are being missed, man. So,
Alex, why is? Yeah, I need to understand. Banks is the most concerning G-men. McLeod and Flott have been good, but what's happening when your QB misses targets? That's what happens. Yeah, it's true. The QBs haven't been good, and we'll get to them in a minute. But I just want to stick with the defense real quick. I don't know if them being cooked is a bad thing. We'll find out when they play Justin Jefferson and possibly Jordan Addison on that Sunday, right? Remember, Jordan Addison got DUI and things like that. So I don't know if that's going to be a suspension. Nothing's come down about it yet. They've kept it in house. Who knows exactly what will happen? But if those two guys are out there and they're cooking our guys in that game, then I'll be a little disappointed. However, they're trying to base this secondary on a pass rush. So if they happen to get to the quarterback, that may alter things and allow your DBs to catch up as well. So, with that happening, we could see what happens. Am I concerned? No, not now. I'll be concerned if Amon Brown and those Lions receivers kick their ass on Monday. Then I'll be concerned. But Malik Neighbors is doing what Malik Neighbors does. Jalen Hyatt and Wandell Robinson are doing what we thought they would be capable of doing. Again, that's a basically a quarterback issue mostly. What's going on, man?
What's going on? Unpopular opinion sports, man. Thanks for coming, hopping in, bro. Appreciate you, man. Hope all is well, bro. Hope all is well, man. Make sure y'all go sub up to my guy, Unpopular Opinion Sports. Make sure y'all sub up the Big Blue in the Bronx. Also, as well, man,
We
doing
just
big
got a
things
secondary guy
all
too.
those all platforms, man.
We just
So,
signed a guy off waivers, so I don't know
I
how
mean, it's
good he
training
is.
camp. Guys are gonna be coming in. All I mean, that's gonna that's how the norm goes. Training camp, sifting through all kinds of guys, man. Finding guys off the street, man. Finding guys in the grocery store. Sometimes you never know, man. Who can pop into a training camp, man. I mean,
we
that's
got
just how
we
it
got
is,
this guy from
man.
Walmart, straight off the Walmart, cashier rack. We got this guy, so
But
I get it. I get it. I'm hoping that the Giants. Let's talk about that real quick. The Giants are still number 6 in the waiver wire claim. So if they do put
what's
in a
up,
waiver for a
Miz?
good player that they like, which I think is what you're going to get. I don't know if they're going to go out and sign a vet like a Gilmore or a Dory Jackson. They might sign Jackson, but Jackson may want to hold out and try to get that money. That's what a lot of these guys are doing right now. They're also veterans, meaning they probably don't want to do too much at training camp. And we're at the beginning stages. Guys are going to go down left and right. There are guys going down in Minnesota. There are guys going down in other teams that might need cornerbacks as well. So there will be a bidding war for some of these guys' services as it gets closer to the season. Remember, the NFL has 2 weeks now from the last game to the first game to get guys, and that's when you'll have those cut downs and those trades happening. Let's what's happening with Neil? Well, let's not. He's day to day, according to Brian Dable. That's why you don't listen to that guy. Who knows? I think Neil. Some people say Neil. This is the last time we'll ever see Neil because of the Van Routen signing and Illuminor. I have no idea if that's true. I can't confirm nor deny that. What I will say is this: if he doesn't play this year at all, then we have a big problem on our hands because you wasted valuable resources on a guy that's not playing, and that is a bad look on the GM. But I think they'll give him every chance if he comes back. Again, I don't know what's wrong with his ankle. It seems like it's a little deeper than just whatever they're saying because he's not even being spotted on the field. That's the problem. He's not even being spotted on the trainers and getting stretched out or whatever, right? Or working. So we'll see if he comes back.
See, yeah, he needs to get back because he needs the reps that he's missing. He needs them. He needs them really bad. I mean, if we watched Evan Neal for the first two years of his career, he needs these reps. He can't. He's not one that can afford to miss this kind of time right now. And like I said, it's a mystery right now for me. We don't really know any real details other than the little bit of what you do here. So
But it's
it is what
odd.
it is.
It's odd, Mac, because they treat this guy crappy, yet the guy that is under center who has similar history with injuries, they treat like he's done something. So it's just weird. It's just weird how they're handling the situation. That's all.
And as for this right here, what Alex is saying right here, that part was kind of. I mean, that part was a little bit the way he was kind of just like, we'll just be patient and just like, what? Okay, I mean that's what it is. I mean,
But
guys
see,
that you literally say you coveted and wanted, you're just watching them all fall off the board, and you just let's be patient. All
but
right.
that's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
it's cool. I mean, I like. I mean, I'm okay with the Newman pick. I just need to get him on the field, get him out here working, and but at the end of it, but I don't know.
Somebody said something
That
interesting
was
to me
kind of
today
funny.
in a space. They were like, and people ask about the trade with the Colts. If you were so concerned about getting guys like Lassiter and
Thank
all
you.
these
Right,
guys
unpopular.
in, you could have traded down to 15, gotten like a Brian Thomas. You still would have had a stud wideout who probably is killing. I don't know what Brian Thomas is doing right now, but he was there available. And then you could have still gotten Lassiter and if you wanted Newman in the second round as well, because we had that extra second round pick, do something with it. What it showed me last night is they basically drafted not necessarily for BPA. They drafted for need and then put value on it saying it was BPA. The only reason it was valuable is because you walked away and got rid of your safety. You paid McKinney, who was drafted. You didn't want to pay McKinney, who was drafted in the second round. Now you get Newman, who you think is going to be a stud. What's going to happen in 4 years? I mean, he may not be here in 4 years. What's going to happen in 4 years if that guy's a stud? Are you not going to pay him then? Like, you also have Jeffrey Owens, who seems to be doing pretty well. You also have Dane Belton, who's there. So there's a couple guys that you already have that you could have gotten if you wanted to make a move up to get there. Corner was a big problem and still is a big problem, right? You took Andrew Phillips, who, again, we don't know how good he's going to be as a third-round pick. Hopefully he'll be good, but right now they're penciling him in as the nickel corner. So, I just thought that Joe Shane didn't do himself many favors in the Hard Knocks episodes, but, it is what it is. So we'll find out more as we go.
I mean, right now they're speaking fairly positive of that the cornerback nickel guy you were just talking about.
Yeah, Phillips.
Got his name that quick. But Phillips, he's been just positive talks about that young man right now coming out of camp right now. It's not.
Yes, he's making some plays. See, he's making some plays on check down Charlie. Yes, he is. So let's get to the offense real quick, and then we can move on to another team. Obviously, the elephant in the room is the quarterback situation going on. As you know, if you've been following it and haven't been under a rock, Connor Hughes put out an article where maybe Drew Lock may need to get some first-team reps. Listen, you people all know how I feel about Daniel Jones. I don't want to make this a Daniel Jones beatdown fest, but in year 6, this guy needs to be a little better in practice. Needs to be a little sharper than what he's doing. It's unacceptable having a bad practice like they did in year 6, and it's not like the defense was doing anything to them to make them bad. It was mostly the offense just sputtering. And, that is a lot of moving parts in the offense, but all the quarterbacks are kind of in a weird situation. I got the third-round quarterback telling the world that he's the best on the team, essentially. The Giants can't trade me. He's going to do whatever it is. I'm like, yo, man, you're a third quarterback. Shut your damn mouth and go out and let your play do the talking, and you'll be elevated. You got Drew Lock making some plays, people questioning him, and then you have the incumbent starter, Daniel Jones, who, by the way, if he plays like he plays in practice, we're going to have a long and brutal year. I'm not one to give him the excuse that it's coming. He's coming along, and he's got it. Nope. Sorry, there is not an excuse for me. I'm not putting it in. I don't give a fuck that he's coming back from his knee injury. If he came back early and they deemed him healthy, well, guess what? You need to rip the Band-Aid off and go make those plays. There's no excuse now. You were cleared to play. You need to play. Wandale Robinson, you've been with for a while. Jalen Hyatt, you've been for a while. Oh, by the way, you brought those guys down to North Carolina to practice with you. So don't tell me about all this bullshit timing. It's throwing some things off. It's not allowing these receivers to do well, and these quarterbacks need to step up. Otherwise, we're going to have a long, long year.
Look, I appreciate this comment right here because I don't want to hear it. These guys are professional athletes. You're supposed to look good in practice. The fact that you can't even look good in practice is problematic. I don't care what you're coming off of. It's practice. You are a 6-year veteran in the league. That's to me, it is no excuse to not look good. At least look good in practice. At the very least, if you're not going to look good in September, at least look good in practice.
Listen, you say it's practice, but guys,
it's not going to be a Daniel Jones beatdown.
But guys are looking good in practice. I mean, I'm just saying, we want to talk about that. We put guys on different standards. We say it's practice for one guy when he screws up, but then we don't do that when another guy screws up and says, "Oh, see, look at this guy, he's screwing up." Well, how come that is different? Aaron Rodgers, second year in the system, they have a sloppy player. They're going, well, Aaron Rodgers, bad Achilles. No, they're not. They're not saying that. They're not saying that with Kirk Cousins either. They're not doing that. They don't make those excuses for that. But Kirk Cousins' first year in the system, their offense is looking confident. They're not getting yelled at by their coach the same way ours is, who's implementing the system. And it's not just Daniel. I don't want to single him out. He has been sucky, and if people don't want to admit that, that's fine. But at the same time, all the quarterbacks haven't looked good. The entire offense is struggling in general, but that's the main thing. We want to talk about practice. Guess what? Last year, the same people who told me it's practice now or mentioned that it's only practice were the same ones telling me that he's fucking throwing all over the yard. He's doing this. He's doing that. And when I said it was only practice and don't believe it, I got fucking railroaded. So now don't use that same argument now because the shoe is on the other foot now. So I don't want to hear it. I'm like Mac. I don't give a damn how long you've been. You've been in the year. This is your third year in the system. If the only thing that's changed in the system is the person in your headset. That is it. It went from Kafka to DeBall in your headset. That is the only thing that's really changed. Sure, the personnel here and there, but it's not. Those are all numbers. People are going to be there. You still need to execute the plays when you're there. How can you explain throwing the ball late when Jalen Hyde is clearly wide open in practice? That's not me. That's on tape. That's on the tape. This is not me saying, oh, fuck you. This is on tape. This is what the eyes are seeing. This is what the comments are reading. The guy is wide open. You're not throwing with anticipation. He's wide open. And you're throwing the ball all the way towards the goal line where he has to basically toe tap to get in. Those are things that happen in the game. Some of these things do translate to the game. So we need to have that. Okay, but look how great his defense is. His defense is one of the best. See, this is what I'm saying. Jones isn't good, but he's not Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson can do that. You know why? His defense is fucking fire. This defense we're talking about ain't the Rams defense, ain't the Ravens defense. Okay? It ain't. And there's no excuse for missing guys wide open. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for throwing the ball in the dirt to Wan'Dale Robinson when he is wide open for Yak. He needs to get better at that. Is it so hard to say that he gets better at it that we always get fucking pushback? This is what I mean. This is why I don't like talking about the quarterback, because no matter what we do, we always get pushback on the criticism.
It's just frustrating. Like I said, it's just frustrating when you hear these reports. Like, I haven't been there to see it at all. But it doesn't matter. I don't have to be. The reports I know are accurate, and it's just ridiculous to me. I can't with this. I mean, he's 6 years in the league. This is practice. You're not getting hit. You're not even getting hit. No one's allowed to touch you.
Exactly.
Just deliver strikes. You are a professional. Deliver strikes at practice.
Oh my God!
Like that's all I want. At practice,
maybe coming from your mouth, it'll be different.
Sharp at practice. I just don't. That's it. That's all. That's what that might like. Here's what I said from the beginning. Daniel Jones has done nothing in his career that he should have been able to walk into an NFL training camp this season, anointed the starting quarterback. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. You got guys on this roster, Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito, whoever the fuck else they might have out there doing whatever. It should just be a wide open competition, as far as I'm concerned. Daniel Jones has done nothing to be anointed anybody's starter, only other than that salary that he pulled in. That's obviously what's keeping him in that spot. Because you cannot convince me that at this stage of his career, Daniel Jones has impressed you so much more than Drew Lock. It's just no way.
Maybe it'll be different coming from you, Mac. Maybe it'll be different coming from you. I don't know.
That's my frustration with this football team right now. Just not to me taking all the proper steps to truly get to that to where we need to be, man. And it's getting irritating as a fan for me to just sit here and just watch the fuckery, dog. Year in and year out now at this point. I'm a proud New York Giants fan. But it's just I want to be able to cheer. I want to be able to be hyped for my squad. And I can't. I got to sit here and listen to Eagle fans all day long, every day of my life, talking all this shit, and I can't even clap back at them. Because it's just the reality of my situation right now.
I know your seat at the table.
I need this team to take those steps, and it starts with that quarterback position, man. It's just not we're not as good as we need to be in that spot by no means. We were talking about the Hard Knocks earlier. All throughout the Hard Knocks, the just mere mention of Daniel Jones' name, you never saw like a smile, anything come on Dable's face. He looked like just disappointed. When they said, "Oh, we're just rolling back with Daniel Jones," he looked defeated at that moment. Like that's it. That okay. That's what we're gonna do. All right. Like this is just crazy to me, man. And I didn't even want this to happen. I didn't want to turn this into anything about Daniel Jones. It's not because it is what it
I
is.
said
He's the quarterback of the
quarterbacks.
New York Giants,
I said quarterbacks. We went
and it
down this
is what it
road
is.
because
And I mean,
people got mad at the
there's
practice
nothing I can
comment.
do about it. But
They get mad at the
yeah,
practice
let's
comment. They revert to Allen Iverson. It's practice. It's practice. But hey, you know what? It is.
yeah. I
But
mean,
that's
it
a
is. All
bridge
right.
too far.
Let's.
That
I'm sorry.
has nothing to do with
Apologize
Daniel
for
Jones.
that. For that. It didn't even mean for
This
all
has
that.
nothing to do with
It
Daniel
just
Jones.
sometimes it's
This has
just
to do with the
craziness to me.
fact that the Giants didn't draft a quarterback that they could have drafted and had in the pipeline in case their quarterback sucked. Is he performing? He is. That's not my words. Those are the words of New Orleans Saints. Go look at the practice notes. You just because you don't want to hear something because it doesn't mean it's not true. Okay. And we talked about having a guy in the pipeline and getting resources in here right now. We have no resources in here. We have three guys and we're hoping to roll the dice on them. Mac is right. It should be an open competition. May the best man win. If Drew Lock outperforms Daniel Jones, well, then he should be the starter. Case in point. Period. And the thing that Joe Shane just mentioned, he said the best 11 will play on each side of the ball. I hope he holds it to it because if the best 11 happens to be the backup quarterback, then, and he's better than the starter, that's what the coach is supposed to find out. That's why we have practice. Isn't that what practice is about? To learn who's good, to learn who's bad? That's all I mean. And if you can't do that as a coach to put the best players in position to win, then what are you doing? I don't want a guy to start because he has a contract. I want a guy to start because he actually has the quality to start. That's all.
Like I said, I'll take it back to Seattle. Matt Flynn, they came in, brought him in, gave him the big contract to be the starting quarterback. But this guy named Russell Wilson that they drafted in the third fucking round came in there and whipped Matt Flynn's ass in training camp.
Exactly.
Seattle had no problem sitting that guy they paid right on the fucking bench and playing the better guy.
That's what you do. That's your job. But we can move on.
It's just ridiculous to me that this guy's walking in a training camp anointed a starting quarterback when he's done the absolute nothing that he's done his entire career. But
and then we're not going to get into this, people, because I know how it's going to go down. We're moving on to the next topic that we want to discuss. Mac, what's up next?
I mean, let's just go to Washington, man. Let's talk about them.
Commanders.
A little bit. Energy's up a little bit. They're hearing, good things over there in their training camp, man. Things, he said it's a new kind of vibe over there. Terry McLaurin speaking very positively, saying he's enjoying his time right now. He said he's enjoying his time better than any point in his career with his organization. He said it's just like a breath of fresh air. He said things just running smoothly. And guys are hearing great things. Jaden Daniels out there, happy to be a competitor.
Doing good
number
things
2 overall pick.
Daniels.
Number 2 overall pick, but he's not anointed the starting quarterback. He has to earn it, folks. His coach is making him earn it. Team's making him earn it. And he's out there, and he's out there. I mean, doing some things. Hearing great positive things, man. I don't know what you hear anything about Commander camp.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to speak on quarterbacks that are from other teams, apparently, because it's only practice. It's only practice. So hey, you can only comment on what's out there, and for what he's doing okay, right? They still have a good team over there with Scary Terry. He's hitting this stuff. This organization in Washington has a lot to be happy about. And when you bring in the second overall pick, and he's splitting reps with the first team, that's what you want to hear. That's what you want to see. Will he be the starter? That is yet to be determined. But it is what it is with the Commanders. So I'm hearing good things. Again, it's as people are saying in this chat, it's just practice. So I guess we can't get too high, we can't get too low. But from the things that I'm hearing, they're impressed with what they see out of Jaden Daniels. He's pushing for that starting job come September. We'll find out. It's not like he has anybody hard to beat out. He has Marcus Mariota out there. So, it is what it is on that. We'll see how it is. If you listen, my friend, if you don't like what I have to say, then you don't have to tune into the channel. All right, I'm just saying. You brought up the comment, said, yeah, okay. We explained to you our thoughts. You don't agree. It's okay, man. I'm not. You always want to fight with somebody over football. I'm not doing it, bro. Over football. This is not. It's not that big a deal. All right, not that big a deal. You don't like the show? Go somewhere else then, man. I don't know what to tell you. You don't like what I have to say? Oh, you're tough. This has nothing to do with being a tough guy. You just said, yeah, okay. So I got your yeah, okay, because you don't want to believe what we have to say. So don't believe it. But we're on to the Redskins now. So that's what we're talking about.
But nah, it's real quick though. I will because it's my homie. But look, it's all good. But I do root for the team strong. But right now, I just can't look past that position right now. I can't. When you look around the league, the landscape of the league, it's all about the QBs, man. You look around the league, I just can't look past it, no matter what. And I love this team to death. I mean, I'm not called MacDaGiantsFan fan for nothing. I love this team to death. But at the end of the day, I just can't continue to look past that. I just can't continue to look past the quarterback play of this football team and the fact that he's walking in and once again they're just on this guy is the starting quarterback. Like I say, the same draft class as Drew Lock. Drew Lock's pretty much been a career backup for the most part. But at the end of the day, even in his backup moments, I feel like I've seen even more and better things from Drew Lock in his little limited backup roles than what we've seen from Daniel Jones in 6 years. I can't just look past that. I can't look past the fact that this team just seemed to look a little better and more competent offensively, even when Tommy DeVito was running the offense a season ago.
Listen,
I can't look past these things. That's all.
Joe Shane can.
I mean, I respect you. I love you, Duff, bro. But I just can't. I just can't. What you call it, man?
Listen, if you don't like me, that's fine. You can tune in, right? I'm looking like a clown. Look what you're doing for football. We're talking football, my man. So, listen, if you don't like it, there's another channel to tune into. That's what you can do if you want. I'm not going to sit here and have to defend my stance against the guy because you don't like it, and then you give an answer that is, your answer, and I comment on your answer, and you're like talking tough. Give me a break. So, anywho, getting back to the Commanders. As we were on this, let's not talk about Daniel anymore because people get a sore subject from people over here. The Commanders looking okay in practice. I don't know if they're going to be good, but like Max said, I'm tired of fighting for third place. They're tired of fighting for third place. Let's see what they do. They have a new coordinator, they have a new coach, so they have Jaden Daniels, who again we're talking about Marcus Mariota. It's not like he's Joe Montana's in front of him, right? He should be the starter. If he's not a big deal. They can usher him in whenever they want to. Dan Quinn is a more competent coach than Ron Rivera, although I thought Ron Rivera would help out that team when he first came in. It was a mitigated disaster. He never got a chance to really draft his quarterback, the one that he wanted. He obviously got Sam Howell. That didn't work out the best. We don't know what will happen with Sam Howell. It's still early. It's only his first year. But so far, the early returns for Jaden Daniels are positive, and their running game's looking pretty good with Brian Robinson and Cam Akers. So it should be exciting for them. They don't have it, knock on wood right now. They haven't had sustained, from what I've seen, any major injuries. They do happen to like their defensive line from what I'm hearing, and a lot of those guys are maturing. So we'll see if they can get some pressure on the interior. And we'll see. I was talking to somebody in space today, and we all anoint the Giants as them winning those two games. The Vikings game and the Commanders game. Well, the Commanders are a different team than they normally are. So I'm not going to anoint a win to those two teams because of their history with the Redskins.
Oh man, but
it's okay. It's okay.
This team, I mean, the wide receiving core, man, on this team, speaking very highly of Jaden Daniels. Terry McLaurin saying there's pretty much no throws he can't make. Saying he's putting the ball in places where just only they have opportunities to make plays with it, just making those special kind of throws. So I mean, those things are definitely good. You know, you hear guys like a Terry McLaurin, guys, good veterans like that, guys that have been really good in this league. Speaking that highly of a rookie quarterback, man, he's definitely must be making a real impact down there in Washington training camp. And like I said, this team, like I said, they've been. Everybody knows all the things this team's been through over the years. You know, under the Daniel Snyder tenure as owner, and I mean, just it was a lot just shaking that all through the name change. Had went through a season just without a real name, just as the football team, which I thought was actually kind of cool. They should have just stuck with that. But but
I don't know if I
you know,
like it. Just like kind of stupid. The Washington football team. I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, they could have came up with all types of names, man. That I don't know if the Generals was because it was already trademarked in the USFL. They couldn't use that. I don't know. I mean, I guess the Commanders is kind of similar to General, but it is what it is.
I mean, I think just we'll just jump back right after that real quick. I just think it's the fact that there's still opportunities even later in the draft to just bring somebody else in. I mean, yes, after the first round guys, the talent pool did dip a bit, but still, you just should have
Resources.
brought
Just bring
somebody else in. It's
resources in.
just
That's all.
just at that point. That's all. That's really
We're building
what
a
it came
roster.
down
We
to. It
need
was still guys out there.
the backup quarterback position is a position that you want to have a solid quality starter at. So why, when you want to bring in a guy and take a flyer on a guy like Spencer Rattler, who has a lot of talent, just is playing with the Gamecocks and fell off, right? If we believe what Brian Dable can do with young quarterbacks, you bring him in and you let him see what he can do. That doesn't preclude you if this year they happen to fucking suck donkey balls and you happen to be in a quarterback position, that doesn't mean Spencer Rattler necessarily has to be your starter or the guy you go to. Now you have a bridge quarterback if you need, or you can still draft your quarterback on top of that. All we're talking about is roster building. Bring somebody in. But again, we're on to the Commanders. I don't want to keep harping on the Giants, make this a Giant show. It's the NFC East show. So that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, guys really gaining the respect of Coach Dan Quinn, definitely making an immediate impact as well.
I think Bobby Wagner's
Bringing in a
helping
guy
out.
like Dan Quinn, absolutely a leadership of a guy like Bobby Wagner. He's been through it all. He's a Super Bowl champion. I mean,
Well,
like I
he's
said,
also a
like I mentioned
steady
before,
voice
he's
out
not.
there.
Absolutely. I mean, he's not necessarily the same caliber player he once was on the field, but still just having that kind of guy, and he's still a good player. But
Does
he's
he
still
have to be?
absolutely a good player. And I'm just saying it's just I'm just saying like he's not he hadn't have to necessarily be, but he's not that. But at the same time, his leadership on the field and still what he'll always have guys lined up correctly. Have these guys doing what they need to do. So it's like
It's,
not
it's, it,
having an
it,
actual
we're
coach
agree to
on the
disagree.
field
It's
with
not
you.
take one to take one.
So
It's you're not listening to what we're saying. You're so focused on trying to replace Daniel Jones that the backup quarterback is a position as well. So if you can bring value to that position, right, and groom a guy in the position, just like you would bring in a fifth round wide receiver who you may not need a wide receiver, but you bring him in because he has traits that you like and you hope them to be something. Same thing with the quarterback. Okay. And Spencer Rattler, who was rated high, had a third round grade for most people, was taken in the fifth. That's a guy you could stash in a fifth round pick and groom him to be a player. It doesn't mean anything to take one to take one. We do have a backup quarterback position. Most teams carry two quarterbacks, last I checked. So for me, I'm saying you could still improve this team in the quarterback room and still have a guy to lean on if shit hits the fan. That young guy in the pipeline that some people have to do it the right way if they wanted to. They didn't do that. It's over. I'm just saying you could have done it. It has nothing to do with take a quarterback to take a quarterback. Some people take a receiver and take a receiver. How come it's different for a fifth round receiver than it is for a fifth round quarterback if you're basing the same idea of traits and a possible value to a quarterback position? You need a quarterback. You need a backup quarterback. We had a good one in Tyrod Taylor. He left. We don't know what Drew Lock is. So yeah, you're bringing a young guy who you hope that Brian Dable can groom. and make and get the traits out that he needs. He did it with Tommy DeVito. Why not invest some resources? I don't get why it's right. Well, anyways, we're arguing for nothing, bro. Yes, we wasted 6 picks on all the guys that left. We needed do we or did we not need a quarterback? Yes. We needed a running back, we drafted one of those. We needed a tight end, we drafted one of those. We needed a safety, we drafted one of those. We needed a cornerback, we drafted one of those. The only pick that was a luxury pick was the wide receiver pick. So it is what it is. Ken, let's move on. Let's move on to the Eagles. Or if you're done with the Commanders, because we keep going back to the Giants, and I want to kind of move this along. I love addressing you guys.
Much shit on the Commanders, and it got to move it along a little bit. But yeah, Eagles, training camp, lock and loaded. Having
good camp,
public practice tomorrow, opening up to the fans tomorrow night, and everybody, a lot of people excited to see Saquon Barkley at the link. In the Eagles uniform.
Eagle fans are excited. I don't know about our fan base per se. A scorned lover.
Not us.
Oh, I mean, I don't care. He's on the other team.
My face.
You're not happy about his debut tomorrow? Come on. You're not going to go down there? I heard that the rumor was Mac was going down there to support Saquon Barkley in a sea of green.
But, I mean, things rocking and rolling over there at Eagle camp, man. I mean, what's the buzz out of Eagles camp, Adam?
Well, Jalen Carter's doing pretty well, and that's something that we have to worry about, obviously, because we knew that guy was going to be good, and here he is. Reports is he's having a great camp. Their backup, their new cornerback is also doing pretty well, which is something that we as Giant fans only had 6 picks. We could have had more if we traded down. Didn't get the corner that we needed. So Queen Mitchell is shining in camp. That's always good. You've had a couple good days of practice for Jalen Hurts. He had a bad day the other day. So we'll see how he holds up. He's got a lot of pressure on him as well. So, it is what it is. I think they're going to use apparently their offense has changed a little bit. They got a lot more motion going on, which they didn't have last year, which if you guys know what motion does, it allows you to check the defense a little early, understand where you might be going with the football. So adding motion and a back like Barkley is going to allow them for more dynamic plays. And we'll see if this helps them when they go in 11 personnel. Kellen Moore, they've been saying that Kellen Moore has been taking control of the offense, while Nick Sirianni has been more of the CEO. He's popped in on special teams meetings. He's popped in on defensive meetings. He's popped in on the offensive meetings. So he's kind of putting his hat everywhere. The players seem to be taking to it a little bit. We'll see if it translates on the field. But they really did bring in Kellen Moore to try to change this up and see if they can get the best out of it going forward. And I think the fact that this team keeps getting richer is crazy. You draft Jalen Carter 1 year, the best probably D lineman in the planet, and then you draft the best corner in the draft, right? And it's just crazy how they just keep landing good player after good player after good player.
But this is what I mean, like how teams just how it's supposed to be done. Like I hate, like, full disclosure for anybody new listening, I hate this fucking team. I hate this team with a passion. But with that being said,
but
they do it the right way, man. They do it the right way. Look, Fletcher Cox retires, no problem. We got Jalen Carter that we just
and Jordan Davis looking good too.
Up here in the middle. Jordan Davis a couple years ago. We got that guy too. Oh yeah, I don't know what they got going on at the center position, but I know they still have a pretty formidable offensive line. You lose Jason Kelsey.
I think it's Cam Jurgens.
They still they just can continue to just move on, man, and just reload and fire, man. And that's because of good drafting, good moves in the offseason and free agency, and they've just built this team for sustained success. Not just to be good
what was that
year,
word?
Not just to be good. Sustained. Yeah, that word right there. Sustained success. I mean, that's just what it is. Every year, this Eagle team is in it, no matter what. They're in the championship talks. They're in. I mean, they don't obviously finish the story because they're
Always
the
wins.
Philadelphia Eagles and they don't deserve to finish the story. But
They've
they're
done it
always in the
once.
conversations. They're always in the mix, and 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 that's just what it is, man. Because they've built this team to be good for years, as opposed to a year, or for
Well,
just for the moment. It's just, I mean,
because they don't
it's
always
I
draft
don't
for
even know
need.
how they pull it off.
They don't always draft for
No,
need. Sometimes they draft the best player available. And that's kind of a different philosophy than what we have, where, a guy walks out like Xavier McKinney and we draft Tyler Nubin. And the thing is, we didn't want to sign McKinney, but then we go and draft Nubin. They don't do that. They went and double dipped at corner. So they took two of the best corners in the draft, and then they draft a lineman, even though they have linemen already. Right. So that's just their philosophy. And then what happens is, a guy like Kelsey leaves, Cam Jurgens walks in, and they've already got his replacement on the roster. See, roster building doesn't happen from just the starters. You bring in guys for the draft. Remember the Giants, remember the old adage that Ernie Accorsi had? You never can have too many defensive ends, and we had Kiwanuka, Tuck, Umanura. Well, guess what? Sometimes they needed a corner. Did they draft the corner that round in 2006? No, they basically took Kiwanuka, and even though they had a stable of running backs, it allowed for them to have Michael Strahan leave, and then all you do is you still have Kiwanuka on the roster because he's already been there. Same thing with Ruben Randall when he came in a few years ago. I hated to say this because I loved Akeem Nicks, but I knew that could have been Akeem Nicks' replacement because you already had Nicks, you already had Cruz, you already had Manningham, and then Ruben Randall,
yeah,
and
Ruben
Knicks'
Randall.
contract is coming up, and boom, there you go. You got Ruben Randall, and you don't necessarily miss a beat per se, right? So we've got to. They bring in depth players. There's a reason these teams are good. They have the foresight to understand that it doesn't necessarily matter that you already have a starter there. You can always bring. Remember, they drafted Andre Dillard a few years ago, and he was a first round pick. They shipped him off because they had other guys playing better than him, and then they just keep recycling. So they also don't hang on their picks for a long time. You got to know when to let go of guys, and that's what these teams do. Not to mention they make bargain free agents look good. They have Devin White. Devin White is flying around the football field for them right now. So they moved James Bradbury on their team to safety, So they're keeping a guy around for veteran leadership to play safety. So they basically improved their safety position by just moving James Bradbury over there to the safety position, and he's having an okay season. So, I don't want to praise this team to the end, but as a content creator and a football observer, these are the observer's thoughts. These are the things that I see, and when I look at and I hate the other thing is I look at across the league, but if you're talking NFC East, I look at the two teams at the bottom, and I can't help but notice that one seems to be futzing around while the other teams seem to be moving in a direction that is more proactive. So again, this is the Eagles. They shouldn't be this good every year. Every year they're in the mix, like Max said. I don't know what they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna be that bad this year. I think at worst they're gonna win 11 games. I think that's the worst that they're gonna win. Like maybe 10, but I can easily see them being the top of the NFC this class. I can see them winning the division, as a matter of fact. That's how good I think they can be. Again, pieces have to gel, things have to come together. New defensive system. Vic Fangio is their D coordinator. We all know his history with the last two teams hasn't done very well. We'll see if they can come together. They got Bryce Huff in there now, so they got Jalen Carter. Now they have Bryce Huff. Not to mention they have Nolan Smith over there. So they just keep the rich gets richer, as we say.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do. This damn team. This damn team. But I ain't got nothing else. What the hell with them? Let's go to Dallas, Oxnard, California, where they have training camp. Still, once obviously we know, CD Lamb is still unavailable to the Dallas Cowboys right now as in training camp. I'm not sure. I haven't really heard much about anything getting any closer to an agreement. But they need to get something done because right now it's turning into just a big distraction, And I know there's enough veteran leadership on this Cowboy team that they'll still be able to overcome all of that. But at the end of the day, you still don't need just the extra distraction. And you got a team like the Eagles right now that you are definitely trying to keep pace with in this NFC East division. I know the Dallas Cowboys are the defending champions of the division, but at the end of the day, I think most people would recognize that the Eagles are probably the favorite on paper right now going into this season, just the way they've stacked that roster once again this off season. So you got hearing anything about Dallas? Heard they got into a little scuffle today at practice. I did hear that. I heard they got
Well,
tussled a little bit.
you want a little feistiness on your team, right? I mean, they look. Listen, from the things I've been hearing, Dak looks in midseason form. They first player practice a few days ago. They opened up with a bomb to Brandon Cooks, kind of trying to tell CD Lamb like, "Hey, man, we're not going to need you." You know, in that regard, they are obviously going to need him. We'll find out if this holdout goes into the season because at that point, now you're talking about probably risking game checks, and that really could compromise them. They did, however, lose one of their players that they were going to rely on in Sam Williams. He has a torn ACL and MCL, so that is a blow to their defense. We'll see how they can recoup from that. We'll see what they do in terms of the cut down day. We talk about the Giants having the waiver wire pick. The other 32 teams have a chance to get, or the other 31 teams have a chance to get guys as well. We'll see if there's any trades that are going to be made here at, for these teams. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think they need it right now because they have Deron Bland. They got Xavier, I think it's Xavier Woods back. I think that's, no, Xavier, Trayvon Diggs is coming back now, right? So he's back. And I don't know if they're going to bring in Stephen Gilmore, but I could see that in doing that if they need. But we'll see who they might bring in as the cut downs come down and teams start to formulate their roster. There's going to be guys that don't make it onto the team that may have familiarity. For example, Dante Fowler's with the Commanders. I don't know how he's doing, but he's a guy they might want to bring back if they need him because I shouldn't say he has familiarity in the system, but he has familiarity with the Cowboys. And, in Mike Zimmer's system, you need pass rushers. So who knows?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's another guy we could talk about a little bit. Since this training camp, and he's actually, I guess, getting a little bit of work out there. Trey Lance, quarterback Trey Lance. I think some people may have forgotten that the Dallas Cowboys had acquired him last year when he couldn't make the grade out in San Fran. But hearing some up and down things about him, hearing he's having his struggles, a bit of struggle still. He's not really. I mean, just been up and down. I've heard he's had a few good moments, but it's just not what this. I mean, this guy was drafted so high and was drafted to be a franchise quarterback in this league for the 49ers were hoping that
the 49ers loved him so much. They shipped him off.
And now we're watching this guy just really barely hang on and be able to even make a roster at this point. I don't know if you have heard anything about Trey Lance or any thoughts on Trey Lance.
Well, it's funny that you say that because we talk about Dak Prescott and his contract being, over almost essentially this year, right? Well, Trey Lance is not doing the Cowboys any favors because had Trey Lance come out and look good in practice, that would push Dak Prescott probably negotiations to like, hey man, we don't need you because Trey Lance is waiting in the wings. Well, his struggles are, if I'm Dak Prescott, I'm sitting there saying, I'm lining my pockets, baby, because you obviously are going to need me because the guy behind me can't do shit. So, you're going to pay me for what it's worth. I'm just saying, if you're Dak, this is a business, right? When you take when you take a look at it as the business aspect of it, right? And you sit there and you think about it and you go down there, it's more of an indictment on the Cowboys if Trey Lance stinks because then you don't have any leverage. If we talk about guys like this, right? If I'm the Cowboys, I'd pay him anyways. Some people think the Giants are going to pay him if they fail. Like the Giants will never open up the purse strings like that. But let's just say you're bringing a guy like Russell Wilson, right? If this guy was performing at a level of Russell Wilson where he was doing well and Dak Prescott still was doing well, then guess what? Now you're like, all right, Dak, go ahead. We're not going to need you. This kid's waiting in the wings. He looks like a stud. We know that he looks like a stud. And bingo, bango, boom, your negotiation leverage goes down. However, because he's stinking up the joint, Dak Prescott is looking over there at his agent saying, instead of making it $60 million, make it $61 million. I doubt he'll do that. But my point is, right now, it's not looking good for the Cowboys as a backup quarterback right now as he struggles. Now, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know why he's struggling. You never know what a guy's doing. Maybe he just can't play football, but if at any point.
All right, man. Appreciate you too, bro. But
Okay, it's okay. It's all right. So what happens? So then let me ask you this: if they're bad, you know, if they're bad, are you going to say that you're wrong? Because I mean, why is it? I'm not going to engage in this. Who cares, right? Giants stink. I said they stink. I'm not. If I'm wrong, great. I'm wrong. If I'm right, you're not going to apologize to me, or I'm not going to apologize to anybody else. So give me a break, all right? Stop with your feelings about the Giants. This is a real deal NFC East roundup show. Again, it's not always about the Giants. The world doesn't revolve around the New York Giants. I'm sorry, it doesn't. It just doesn't. Anywho, Trey Lance, he stinks. No leverage for the Cowboys. That's all.
yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, I don't honestly care. I don't have much in depth right now about the Cowboys as of right now. Myself personally, I don't know unless you have any extra thoughts on them.
I'm
We
just
can wrap
waiting to
things
see
up
what Mike
soon.
Zimmer's impression is and what he does with Micah Parsons. Um, and see how that goes. But just to just to say one last thing about this, if I'm wrong, I can admit when I'm wrong. But let's be honest, there's people in this fan base who can't even admit, even the Giants front office can't admit they made a wrong decision on the quarterback. So when when you if you're saying that I need to man up and admit when I was wrong, then man up and admit that you were wrong about the quarterback, Daniel Jones. Because if he does blow me away, which I don't know if he's going to in year 6, I'll gladly step up and say that I'm wrong. But since none of you who have come at me about DJ and everything else I've said, when I've been right and give me the praise, don't expect me to do the same when you guys don't do the same. That's all I'm saying. It's a two-way street. And I know everybody, knows that we love Giants fans. I mean, love the Giants, but God, we can't even have a conversation without people being so upset about them making the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be good.
Well,
7 wins.
all right,
Mac thinks they're going to be 7 wins, 8 wins. How come you're not coming at Mac and saying that he's going to be wrong? It's
all
always
right.
it's
Look,
always something.
all right. Look, let's once again like we did a week ago. Ended on a little positive. Another 10 names revealed on the Giants all time 100 best players 100 list. And guess what? This week on the latest edition
What
has some
number
of
are we
my
at?
absolute favorite. Went from 60 down to 51, and had some of my favorite all time New York Giants in this group in here. Victor Cruz name revealed in this edition. Mark Collins, cornerback.
Ah, your boy.
Mark Collins from back in the
I
80s,
told
my
you.
guy. I love Mark
Told you.
Collins, man. That was my
Told you.
guy. Otis
Told
O.J. Anderson's name came off the board in this edition, and also
Oh, he made it.
Big Jumbo Elliott. Big Jumbo Elliott also was named in this grouping here, man. From 60 down to 51, man. And it's just been really cool, man. Like I said, right now with everything going on with the New York Giants, but with this being the 100th season, been doing a lot of really cool things throughout the entire off season. To be honest, a lot of really cool things, man. A lot of the guys coming out, and a lot of the veterans and such, man, just really been showing up this past off season, doing a lot of great things for the hundredth year of the New York Football Giants, man.
So are you saying that
So
it
this countdown has been kind of.
shouldn't be on there? Is that what you're saying, no Mets? That's too short to be on there? They put
I mean,
Nixon
it's a
on
lot of
there.
guys who had short careers. I mean, with the New York Giants, it's about the impact that they made while they were here, and Victor Cruz made an impact,
Hell,
bro. I mean,
shit.
he made
I
an
put Sam
impact.
Madison on there. He was only there for a couple years, but he was, Sam Madison. Listen, I
I
think
feel like if Sam Madison was going to be on there, he'd have been on there by now
right.
already,
He
though.
probably would have
I,
been.
I
I'm just
think he would.
saying. He had a good run with the
But
Giants. Where's Corey
he
Webster? Did he
absolutely
get
did.
on there
I
yet?
mean, Corey Webster had I can't remember. I think he might have been. I think he might have been. Yeah.
I wish he played
Uh,
for us too. longer. I did.
Oh
I
yeah,
wish Akeem Nicks played longer though. I loved Akeem Nicks when he came out in the draft 2009. Thought he was the best player, the best receiver in the draft. Somebody even asked me. I remember having a conversation on my friend's porch. He goes, "What do you think about that guy, Akeem Nicks?" I said, "Man, did you see that guy? He caught the ball off his back in a game in North Carolina. I forgot who threw him the ball. I
yeah.
don't know if it was Trubisky, but he caught the ball." And took it from behind. He caught it from behind him, took it from behind him, and kept
It
running
wouldn't have
down the
been
sideline.
Trubisky.
All right, I have no idea who it was, but man, Knicks didn't decide to leave. They let him walk because of the injuries. It's not like they decided to let him leave.
His
He
injuries
got
were just
injured.
lingering and nagging.
Right.
He was injured all the
He
time. Really, he literally
his
was injured
last
all the
year
time.
his last year was 2013, and he had like 800 yards, but he wasn't. His legs were shot. He had the compartmental syndrome in his legs, and they were just shot. So that's why he left. It wasn't like he left because Saquon Barkley was going to get free money. It was like, dude, we have Ruben Randall here, and then he got banged up, and they were like, all right, well, you're not the same player anymore. We still have this young guy who. Ruben Randall had a decent season in 2013, not a great season, but he still had a decent year while they were Knicks. And I think, he did come back. I don't know if it was in 2000, was it 2013 he came back? One of the years he came back from the team. He played for the Colts for a while, and then he came back. But he was a guy
Yeah,
that I wish never got injured. That's Giants legends for you. They either get injured or we push them out the door too early in their career, right? So, that's just the Giant way these
I mean, I
days.
remember when Knicks, man. That first couple years with him, man, him and Dez Bryant were going to be just
Oh my God.
doing big things at the
Oh
receiver
my God.
position,
I
man. Back
loved it.
when Dez on the Cowboys, obviously, and Knicks
88
here, it looked
Club,
like the
baby.
Giants and the Cowboys were on to something with the number 88s, man. Yeah, it looked like it was going to be something
88
special.
Club.
But like I said, Knicks he just couldn't stay healthy, unfortunately,
Maybe
man. He was a
neighbors used
great
to go to
guy,
88.
man. Just a real humble dude, man. Real humble dude, man. But it was at the end of the day, he just couldn't stay healthy. And obviously, Victor Cruz thing, you know what happened with him that Sunday night
Oh,
football
that was a
game.
knee,
That
man. Oh
injury
my
was
God.
just too
Career ending.
devastating. That was
That
an
was
injury that
career.
was so devastating for him to come back from. Man. He tried to
Patella
make a run
tendon.
at it, had a little quick stint with the Bears, man, but
How many times
one
do you hear
injury
that?
like that, that was just rough, man. That
Oh
was rough.
man. I
But
mean, how do you
still, I
you
mean,
hate to see it. You hate to see that. It probably was
yeah.
injured prior to that play, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. I do think he had a knee that was bothering him. I think he had a knee scope or something like that. And I do believe these injuries, those injuries don't just like, you don't just tear something, you pull it and it stretches a little bit. It's a little weaker than it normally is. And then that guy doing his explosion, bang, just pop that sucker out. So um, it's a shame because again, we don't know what his career could have been. He's obviously a folk hero because of what he did in that one.
Just
You
think
remember he only had 2 good seasons, 3 good seasons, right?
when that happened though, that was the year, the rookie season, Odell Beckham Jr. and look what he became, and never really
Oof,
even ever got a chance to see
that was his
the
rookie year.
Beckham and Cruz connection, man. Yeah, that was Odell Beckham's rookie year, man. When that happened to Cruz, that was his rookie season. They only played like 2 games together. That happened literally like only in Odell Beckham's like second
And it's
game,
funny
second
because
or third
we did the
game.
same thing with Sterling Shepard that we did with Sterling. It was with Victor Cruz. We kept him on even though his legs were shot, and it's nostalgia. That's what we do with this team. We love nostalgia players and keep guys longer than they need to be. And while yes, I like the Giants way, sometimes we need to get rid of that. But the impact that Cruz made, the salsa dance. Not that the salsa wasn't a famous dance to begin with, but just like what Jettis has the gritty, he had the salsa. So you know, when you think of Victor Cruz, you think of the salsa. When you think of Jettis, you think of the gritty. So that was his iconic dance.
And like not to mention what you were alluding to couple minutes ago too. I mean that preseason game will always go down in history, man. 3 touchdowns he caught. I mean, they were spectacular. I mean, it was a preseason game, but that definitely put his name on the map. People remember Victor Cruz just from that game alone, man. And then just gave so many big memorable moments for New York Giants, man. So many spectacular catches. I mean, just some of the things they did what he did against the Eagles in that game that really put him on the map, man. In that game as well, just
He was cut.
Yeah,
He was about to be cut that year too, man. He was about to be cut. They brought him
yeah,
Brandon Stokely.
he had a case of the dropsies, man. Apparently, and
You don't
he
remember?
was definitely on the verge, man.
Oh my God,
Absolutely,
the
he was on
guy.
the verge of not making the squad, man. And
It
then
was
he
the
came out and
Washington
just
game.
did that.
Remember that Washington game? Remember that Washington game? He came out. He was going to lose in the preseason, but the
Oh,
Washington, he had a first down in his hands, and he dropped the ball, and they benched him for Stokely, and then Stokely in the Eagle game pulled like his quad or something, and then they were like, "Well, you got to go. You got to go play now." And as they say, the rest is history. So.
absolutely, man. The big walk off against Washington that Eli launched
Oh
that
yeah,
big 70-something yard
2012.
pass
I was
to
at that
close
game.
out the game. Oh my God!
I was
Remember
at that game. I
the
was in that.
99-yard touchdown catch he took to the crib against the Jets.
Oh,
In that 20, oh my God, the memories of Victor
I
Cruz.
remember.
Let me stop.
I remember
Let me
where I
stop.
was.
I'm going down.
I was with my friend. We were watching the game, and his mom is coming in trying to get us to go to church. And I'm like, listen, I don't got we ain't going to no church right now, okay? We are in the middle of this game. We ain't going. And my friend's a Cowboy fan, so he allowed me to watch it at his house because it was on a Christmas Eve. And so I'm sitting here and we're watching it, and Victor Cruz gets there, and I love the thing where they say, they know my name now, right? He knows my name now, right? Remember, it was only supposed to be a 10-yard pass, and he was supposed to go down. But Antonio Cromartie, the great Antonio Cromartie, the missed tackler that he was, misses the tackle, and away he goes up the sideline, and Eric Smith, couldn't catch him, and boom, the rest is history. Then he did the same thing against the Commanders, not to mention the next week in that same season, he did it against the Cowboys. Remember, he took that little pass up the sideline?
Yes.
You hit him in stride.
Absolutely.
That's what happens when you hit your guys in stride. They can make a play for you. Run up the sideline, and you can good things happen, and that receiving core was probably one of the best they've ever had in terms of Manningham, Cruz, and
I agree.
Knicks. I don't know. I mean,
I agree.
I love
100%.
Beckham, love what he did. He never got to play with those three guys. I wish he could have played with those two guys.
He was an individual. Well, he only really would have had a chance to play with Cruz, and not the other ones. They were already they had already moved on.
You want to see, we never brought anybody in that was good enough, like a Manningham or like a Cruz at that point. So, I would have liked to have seen him play like that. He was the offense, just like Malik Neighbors would probably be. But hey, that's nostalgia. Mac, great job bringing those up. I wonder when they're going to finish it, by the season.
They were just. I guess so. I mean, we're down to what I said, down to 51 now. So the next one will be next group will be 50 to 41. So yeah, I mean, we're getting there. It's gonna be some interesting names still. There's a lot of big time names still to get revealed, man. Can't wait to see where these guys are slotted at. But I just thought this group right here that came out, this 10 that came out, it was just a lot. Like I said, some names in there that I absolutely loved growing up. Like I said, I was a big Mark Collins fan. If any of you guys remember Mark Collins, go back. I said you got to go back to the '80s. He was they drafted him in '86. Man, he came in and made an immediate impact for the New York Giants, man, and helped them to two championships. So definitely was a big Mark Collins fan, man. To me, one of the most underrated players in the game. To me, I think doesn't get enough credit for the things he did.
Well,
on the field.
Maybe in the history of the NFL, but Giant fans like you know who he is, and you know that guy. And if you know the history of the game, he's part of that history. So, did they reveal Mark Rivera yet? Did he come out?
Oh, absolutely. Nah, he's
I'm sure he'll be in.
I can't imagine Mark Rivera is going to be anywhere less than. I think he's inside the top 20. I think he could be inside the top 20.
Wow! Yeah. Oh my God, he's man. There's a lot more guys that are going to come down this pike, and I'm hoping Leonard Marshall makes the team. I'm hoping George Martin makes the team. So I think Leonard Marshall did do. I think we talked about that last week.
It's on Giants.com, bro.
Yeah, they have it right at the. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. Scroll down to the bottom of the page where the videos are. They have a little I guess a window that has. They reveal the number from 51 to 60 or whatever the number is that we were at. They have it at the bottom of the page, so you can go there and look it up. I'm sure if you go on Google, they have the list for you. So, and you know, it's a good debate topic, that's for sure. But hey, I'm done with that. I don't know if you got anything else, but
no, that's it. I just wanted to bring the positive vibes back to the end of the show, man. New York Giants, like
there's
I
always
said,
positive vibes on
right
the show.
now.
What are you
The only
talking about?
thing, our only positivity with the New York Giants right now is the past, unfortunately, and so you got to I got to relive that just for my own personal sanity, if nothing else, at least. You know, I mean, I got to go there sometime, and I just think this offseason has been pretty cool. Like I said, with everything going on with the 100th year of the New York Giants, so. Hopefully, maybe 100th year can be a blessed one, and maybe they can surprise us and turn some heads and make people like myself and Adam eat our words. I want them to do that. I want to be able to come out and say I was wrong. I want to, very badly. So
I'm sure there's many people lining up, hoping, burning their candles and their sage for me to be wrong, so they can come on to the stream and get their hands ready to put that baby powder on and try to slap me in the face with that reality. But you know, it is what it is, and you know, I've been wrong about many things that I've admitted to being wrong. People don't tend to hear that. They only want to hear, they want you to bow down to them because it's football. Grrr. But hey, you know what? You can believe that they're going to do it. I think it's a tough schedule. I'm giving them 7 wins. I just, that's the cap I have for them. You know, if they surprise me, I mean, Vegas has them at 6.5. Another media member has picked them at 4.5. You know, they have a tough schedule and they don't have much depth, and there's a lot riding on the offense to do well. So we'll see. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's better to be wrong than to be right when it comes with this team. You know, it means the team's moving in the right direction, but we'll see. So.
Absolutely, man. I want to thank everybody coming out. It's been a great stream, man. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Most definitely, man. It's myself, Adam, the Super Dope co-host, man. We're going to be bringing this to y'all every Wednesday up until at very least January. If one of these teams make it to the Super Bowl, we'll be here with y'all clean to February. You know what I mean? Every Wednesday night.
We're not hoping for that unless it's the Giants, right?
Eastern Standard Time. Absolutely. But 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, each and every Wednesday, you're going to catch me and Adam, man, doing this right here. It's the real deal. NFC East round up. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to both our channels, man. Subscribe to the Hardcore Sports Network. Doing great things, man. Doing big things on Hardcore Sports Network as well. Hitting y'all with each and everything. Any sport you need, man. You want to hear some content. Go to Hardcore Sports Network. You're going to get it all, man, from football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, everything, man. So definitely go support the Hardcore Sports Network as well. Definitely shout out to the Big Blue crew, man. Love all y'all, man. I'm Mac the Giants fan. That's my guy, Adam Costas, the Super Dope co-host. We'll see y'all next Wednesday. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MacDa Giants fan.